All right, in this video, we're gonna take a look at the Fresno and Clovis market. I'm gonna give you a market update, but we're also gonna talk about whether or not we're gonna be expecting a housing crisis or a housing crash. You're not gonna wanna miss it. Stay tuned. All right, let's jump right into it. In this video, we're going to be looking at three criteria to try to figure out what's happening in our market. We're going to be looking at price per square foot. We're going to be looking at months of inventory. We're also going to be looking at days on market of listings sold, and also looking at the list price versus the sales price of those listings. First part is going to be Fresno. Second part going to be Clovis, and then we're going to discuss some reasons why we're seeing what we're seeing. All right, let's jump right into the first part. Let's take a look at Fresno's market. What's happening in Fresno? Let's take a look at the price per square foot. As of April, price per square foot hit $237. Year over year, it's actually gone up. A lot of buyers have been asking when are prices going to come down. If you have been on my email list, in January, I was telling buyers it's a good time to buy. In January, price per square foot hit the bottom at $225. Let's take a look at months of inventory. Months in inventory as of last month, we're just over 1 month of inventory for the entire city of Fresno. Now here's something to consider, especially if you're a first-time home buyer or you're in the market. Our National Association of Realtors defines markets by months of inventory. Anything under 3 months of inventory is considered a seller's market. Everything between 3 months and 6 months is considered a mixed or balanced market, and anything above 6 months is considered a full-fledged buyer's market. Now the issue with that is, obviously in California, we're experiencing a shortage of inventory. It's been historically low in California, and more than likely, the National Association of Realtors is going to have to revise those guidelines. Let's take a look at the next trend. We're looking at days on market. How long is it taking on average to sell a home, a single family home in Fresno? As of last month, it looks like 40 days on average it's taking to actually sell a home in Fresno. Now, right above that, we see a red trend line. That line is very, very important, especially if you're in the market looking to make an offer on a home. This line tells us what percentage of the list price are sellers receiving for their home. It looks like as of April, sellers are getting 98% of the list price, almost 100% of their list price. So people have been asking, is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? There are pros and cons to that, but looking at the trend line, you can see straight across year over year, sellers have been getting pretty much 100% of their list price. Let's take a look at the Clovis market. All right, so let's take a look at what's happening in Clovis. Let's take a look at the first trend, price per square foot. As of April, it looks like price per square foot is $251 a square foot. It looks like it shot up in March at $262, and in February, it looks like prices bottomed out in Clovis at $244. Now, if you've been following along and screenshotting some of these trends, you'll realize that things in Clovis are a little more expensive than opportunities in Fresno. Let's take a look at months of inventory. Months of inventory for Clovis, similar picture. As of April, we're only looking at just a little over a month's worth of inventory. Clovis is a very popular area. There's a lot of growth happening in Clovis, and once again, inventory seems to be an issue. Let's take a look at the third trend, taking a look at the average days on market. How long does it take to sell a single family home on average in Clovis? It looks like in April, about 35 days. And once again, take a look at that trend line right above days on market. It looks like sellers are getting close to 100% of the list price for homes that they're selling. So once again, if you're in the market looking for a home in Clovis, price per square foot is just a little bit higher than in Fresno. And as far as how long it's taken to sell a home in Clovis, it looks like it's actually taking a little bit less time, and that's because of the interest, the demand for homes in Clovis. Okay, so are we expecting a housing crisis or a housing crash in the Central Valley? I would venture more on the fact that we're probably going to experience more of a housing crisis, right? There's a huge demand in Fresno, and I can tell you as a case study, I do open houses all throughout the valley at all different price points, and I've been meeting people from Las Vegas, from San Jose, from the Bay Area, even as far as Ohio, looking for opportunities in the Central Valley. That's number one. The pandemic has created migration patterns and people from bigger markets looking for opportunities in smaller markets at price points that make sense for their budget. The other thing is that the high-speed rail is a project that's been in the works, that's made progress. In fact, just this past month, they hit a milestone in completing one of the bridges. That's going to tie both ends of the state together and create a situation where Central Valley is going to become a very appealing place to live because of the cost, overhead costs to live in the Central Valley as opposed to living in the Bay Area or Los Angeles. There's another thing that we need to think about as far as why is there such low inventory. An interesting article I came across in the GB Wire showed us that Fresno ranks number 8 for the fewest housing permits issued in 2022 among metropolitan areas with a population greater of 1 million, according to the study done by Point Two Homes. What does that mean? That means that in keeping up with the demand, builders can't build quick enough, and the process of getting permits seems to be a lot slower in Fresno County than it is in other places. That's an issue that's going to create a lack of vacancy, and that vacancy is going to be really important for those of you who are considering to sell and or considering to buy, as far as how rents are affected and the amount of opportunities that are out there. All right, so what are some key takeaways? Well, if you're in the market to buy a home, especially if you're a Central Valley resident, you're living in Fresno or Clovis, it's going to make sense for you to buy sooner than later for a couple different reasons. I know the rates aren't what you'd like them to be, but if you're waiting for the rates to come down, what's going to happen is that's going to more than likely create a very similar situation to what we had in the pandemic, where more buyers are going to enter in the market, and that's going to create a lot more competition, and we're going to see a replay of what happened during the pandemic. We're going to see people paying over list price, paying more out of pocket, also maybe even foregoing inspections and releasing contingencies and different offers just to get their offer accepted, right? So you have some advantages right now to make the purchase, and to make a purchase on a home that you might prefer versus having to sacrifice certain things just to get your offer accepted with increased competition. That being said, if you're living in a very specific zip code and you'd like to know what's happening in your zip code, feel free to reach out. You can email me directly, your name, your number, and also your zip code, so that I can provide you that information and help guide you in terms of whether it's a good idea to sell or buy. You could be living in the 93711 zip code or a 93619, for example, and be curious about whether it's a good time to buy or sell in that zip code. Feel free to reach out, and I'd be happy to provide you some of these trends directly. Also, if you would like to get on my email list, monthly newsletter, where I provide you more insight to what's happening into the market, also specifics in regards to opportunities in our market, feel free to reach out, send me an email, and I'd be happy to provide you that in detail. All right, I hope this has been helpful. I hope it's been informative, and please share this video with someone who you think might benefit from it. And until next time, take care.